and gentlemen, today we have unfiltered questions. Let's carry on with the day's shenanigans.
I served you a few years ago at Guards Polo, and I was just interested in how long you've been a member of the club and what you think about the sport and everything.
The sport of kings is polo. The king of sports, however, is boxing. Having, the good fortune to be invited to the Guards Polo, they placed me in the royal box. Well, I guess that's normal. I love being kept in the lifestyle of which I'm accustomed, as you know. The Queen was there. Prince Philip had passed. And, part of her spirit wasn't there. God bless Queen Elizabeth II.
Who would you say is the best UK fighter never to win a world title?
Harold Bomber Graham. I sparred with him for 3 weeks in 1989. He beat me up and baffled me for 3 weeks. I hit him only once in that 3-week period. But I knew that the learning structure was going to actually give me benefits. And it did. As Mike Tyson says, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
All right, Chris, I've taken in a stray cat. He's a boy. He's got a massive neck, as you can tell. But I haven't given it a name yet. I haven't been able to come up with one. He's all white and he's got 2 spots on his head. Little stripes. Don't call him Stripey. What shall I call it? I haven't got a name for it.
I wish you callers would ask difficult questions, because that is so simple I can't find my head around it. You've actually confused us because, with your language you said it is stripes he has, but you've also said he has dots. So I don't know which way to turn. So I'm just going to go with the dots. And so, it seems to me that Dotty would be the perfect name. Was it female, the cat, or was it male?
You said the cat had massive knackers, so I would say it's male.
Dotty. It's a very unusual name, in fact. It'll stick. This is Call Chris Eubank.
Hello, Chris. With your sheriff badge, what powers, duties and responsibilities and judiciary responsibilities do you have? I want to know, do you have powers of arrest or is it just fashion police? One of my mates wears denim shorts. I feel they are criminal. What's your point of view on them? Would you arrest him?
What was that last part?
He said, would you arrest my mate for wearing denim shorts?
Right, okay. Where this badge is concerned, I am a deputy marshal. I was sworn in a court of law in a place called Opelousas in Louisiana. People say to me, but you have no jurisdiction here. To which I say, truth has no jurisdiction. There was I suppose, another point, the gentleman asked regarding the denim shorts and whether I would do an arrest. Well, if you send me his details, I may pay him a visit. However, I should point this out. I've worn things over the years that I could have been arrested for. I catwalked for Vivienne Westwood in Milan, and I remember wearing a tunic or a dress called the Bird of Feathers. It's very ostentatious. It's flowers. It's feathers, and it's big. I mean, I walked out on that stage, and the whole audience just went absolutely nuts. I was like, hold on a minute, I usually have to fight to get people clapping, and I've got to win as well. And I've just walked out, and these they're on their feet. They went crazy because Chris Eubank was known as this very tough guy.
Who do you think would win in a fight between you and a moderately sized chimpanzee?
Look at me. I'm fierce. Look at his eyes. And this is the king of the chimpanzees, if you will.
You're right, Chris. Just wondering, out of every fight in history, or maybe a couple of them, what fight would you have wanted to be there in person to see?
Jack Johnson fighting for the first You see, in 1909, no black man could fight for the heavyweight championship of the world. It was called the Colored Championship of the World. Jack Johnson followed this, I think it's Jim Jeffries, followed him to Australia, hounding him to get this title fight for him to become heavyweight champion of the world. Not black, but heavyweight champion of the world. And he got him. I would have loved to have been at that fight, or indeed any fight of Jack Johnson's. They called him the unforgivable blackness. It's where the great white hope was born. This idea of finding a white man to beat this braggart, this show-off, this man of eloquence. Muhammad Ali looked up to Jack Johnson.
Hi, Chris. Can you teach me to walk backwards, please? Thanks.
See, you take it as a joke. It's something that you have to practice and work out why it is sensible, especially in boxing, to be able to move backwards. Okay, I can see you're probably talking about when I was in this I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, where I said I can move backwards, I can run back, I can even jump over things backwards, which was funny. But there is a lot of truth in that. If you watch the first Ben fight, 18th of November 1990, you'd see that the very first round, as he was coming after me, how do I move back so quickly? How does my feet move so quickly and always seems to know where it's going? Practice.
My name is Christopher Livingston Eubank.
How did you make the transition from Peckham to the Bronx? And I find your story amazing and how you took it upon yourself to educate yourself in the language, the English language. Please tell us more about that process, how it was coming from having a Jamaican kind of / Cockney, South London way of speaking, I assume so anyway, to speaking the best Queen's English out there. And also, explain how it was when you first moved to the Bronx and how life was there.
Okay, in order to actually understand how to win in life, you do have to, I suppose, communicate in a way where the masses actually understand you. So if I were to use Cockney all the time, then really that sounds very strange to someone who may be from a different part of the world. The King's English, the Queen's English is for how things were. Now we speak of the King's English. You were also saying, how did people view me in New York? I remember a fellow called Terence Simpson. He was a sparring partner of mine. And I can remember him saying to me, why are you talking like this? Come on, man. That's like he saw me as absolutely weird because I was always trying to better my pronunciation. This dictionary has been with me since I was 16. Yeah, I guess I can do this. I guess I can tell you this. I guess I can sing you this truth. This little light of mine. Don't laugh. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I've let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, I'm gonna let it shine. Keep on shining, keep on shining. Okay, I may have missed a note. I hope I answered all your questions. Thank you.
Hi, Chris Eubank. I have a riddle for you that I figured if you couldn't figure it out, that maybe your audience might be able to figure it out in the comments or something. He is in the pain of my Richard, but no arm to him. I'll say it again. He is in the pain of my Richard, but no arm to him.
Well, thank you for that. I have no idea how to solve your riddle. But if you want to talk riddles, then you're speaking to the right man. Okay, so you got me on one. See if you can work this one out. I have come as light into the world. What is light? Light is lit, charisma. So, everyone who believes in me should not remain in the darkness. I speak just as the Spirit has shown me. Tell me, what is that? If that's a bit of a riddle, so maybe I gave it away. So tell me whether you understand that.
I'm hosting the award ceremony at my work Christmas do this year, and I was hoping for your blessing to hand out the Chris Eubank Award. I was just wondering what characteristics you think would qualify someone for such an award. Thank you, mate.
What is a person's language? Is that person helping the group? Is that person outgoing, positive in their way? Awards should be given to people who are selfless. You see, you have those who dream by night in the dusky recesses of their minds, who wake in the day only to find that it was vanity. Then there are those who dream by day. These are to be considered very extraordinary people, for they dream with their eyes wide open. And because they dream with their eyes wide open, they are able to make their dreams a reality. And you always know if indeed the people who are up for awards, if they are projecting this personality that I've been speaking about, then for sure, by all means, give them the award with my blessing. Absolutely.
Hiya, Chris. If you painted yourself green and got a yellow suit, do you think you'll look like Jim Carrey in The Mask? Thanks.
Well, no. I'm the English gentleman, and I've acted who I am, not who I want to be. A king is instantly recognizable, especially by his absence. That's a riddle for you. Yeah, and it makes perfect sense.
This is Call Chris Eubank.
Now, is it true that you're the only man that can give Shakespeare a lesson in eloquence?
Yes. You see, Shakespeare was an author. I'm the gladiator. So, no disrespect to him, but I can do what he did. He can't do what I did. Look. Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it. This magnificent it. Every human being that ever was lived out their lives on this dot. Earth. The aggregate of our joy and suffering. Thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines. The earth is a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors, so that in glory and triumph they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of this dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. How frequent their misunderstandings. The pale blue dot, our Earth, the only home we've ever known.
It's a beautiful summer's day. The breeze is stupendous.
Indeed, it is. It made me think of a story I heard many years ago. You have an old man, and he has been involved in warfare. So he understands how to use these rifles, and so he's teaching the young privates. He keeps on going from the sergeant and, the person who is teaching, he keeps on going from that person to the other person who is now in the twilight of his life, and he's now going into the field of nature. Today we have the naming of parts. Yesterday we had daily cleaning, and tomorrow morning we shall have what to do after firing. Today we have the naming of parts. Japonica glistens like coral in all of the neighboring gardens, and today we have the naming of parts. This here is the lower sling swivel, and this here is the upper sling swivel, whose use you will see once you're given your slings. And this here is the piling swivel, which in our case we haven't got. The branches hold in the garden their silent, eloquent gestures, which in our case we haven't got. Excuse me. And this here is a bolt, the bolt, the purpose of which is to release the breech. Now, as you can see, we can slide it rapidly backwards and forwards. They call it easing the spring. And rapidly backwards and forwards, the early bees are assaulting and fumbling the flowers. They call it easing the spring. Excuse me. Yes, they call it easing the spring. It is perfectly easy if you have any strength in your thumb, like the bolt and the breech and the cocking piece and the point of balance, which in our case we haven't got. And the almond blossoms, silent in all of the gardens. And the bees going backwards and forwards. For today we have the naming of parts. Excuse me, we have the naming of parts today, yes.
I will give you the answer to whatever question you ask.
Which animal would be the hardest to knock out? I'm thinking like a rhino. I think a sheep would go down easy. I mean, it might come back up, it might go around for round 2, but much love. Adios.
Yeah, he sounded just like Nassim Hamid there. Okay, so let's see. The hardest animal to knock out would be the gorilla, and by far the most intelligent.
Who do you think will win between Cristiano Ronaldo or Mike Tyson, for example? But they're the exact same weight, so think about it.
Well, on a football pitch it would be Ronaldo, and in the boxing ring it would be Mike. Was it supposed to be a riddle? Mike is not going to do that good on a football pitch. I should say soccer. In America, they call soccer football. Is that right? No, it's the other way around. I'm getting all muddled up. Well done.
Who's your toughest opponent from these next 3 opponents? Nigel Benn, Steve Collins, Joe Kawasaki. Thank you.
The toughest was Michael Watson. Kawasaki, he beat me. He's got speed, the power of speed. So for every 1 shot I hit him with, I was being hit by 4. But Michael Watson, that was, it's a fight I couldn't win. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing left in you except the will which says to them, hold on. That was by far my toughest fight. At the end of that fight, I have a friend I haven't seen for many, many years called Kasim, but he lifted me up. And when he lifted me up, I can remember not having the strength to keep my head upright. Like a baby's head before, like a 1-month-old baby, doesn't seem to have any, there is no word in the English language to communicate how, or the exhaustion that I was in. It's truly beautiful to be able to know what it is to have gone through that.
Would you rather fight 100 chicken-sized prime you or 10 you-sized chickens?
I'm afraid you've got a cold, young man. And because you were speaking out of your nostrils, I didn't really understand you. And so, therefore, I'm going to move on because it doesn't seem as though the question was one in which I can actually give an answer that would actually able the collective.
Christopher Livingston Eubank here.
Hey, Deputy Sheriff Eubank. My question is, why did you go to Dublin, Ireland on St. Patrick's Day to fight Steve Collins when you were the bigger name, the bigger star, the A-side?
Why would you go into his backyard on St. Patrick's Day weekend? Because I am Rasta. We fear nothing. I want to do what the others won't do, which is why I'm blessed to have you pose this question so many years after this contest. Yeah, he's got to be a madman. That's right. I want to beat you in your own backyard, and I want your parents to say, you know what? Eubank, oh, mate, yeah, he's my guy.
Would you be scared of fighting a boxer nicknamed Camel? And what do you think of camels?
Okay, names. I was always like, my name is Chris, and coming up through boxing, 16 years old is when I started. Why didn't Mum give me a tougher name? You know, even a Tony. If I was named Tony, you know, you got Tony Thornton. He was a really good fighter. Tony, you know, why didn't I get a name like Butch? Butch will definitely make world champion. Little did I know, the toughest warrior on earth is Christopher. You'd have to spell it out and only use the first 6 letters. Then you can see that that name is the name of the warrior of all warriors.
Hi Chris, big fan of yours. My question is, would you ever consider going on Strictly Come Dancing? I think it'd be great to see. Thanks mate, see you later.
They offered me that opportunity some years ago. When you're moving with that rhythm, when you're doing that, you are praising who lives within. If you've seen me dance, period, it doesn't matter where it is. I look like a madman. You see, that's the way you're supposed to dance, as though no one is watching. When you're doing 7.6 miles every morning, it takes a toll on the avatar. So I think that was the reason I didn't go on.
My name is Christopher Livingston Eubank.
Can you give examples during your era of some of the most ingenious ways in which people have cheated during a fight?
Okay, well, I was never one to actually have my mind on the other person's shenanigans. If you're thinking about what they're doing, then they have tricked you to take your mind off of the winner. That's how I won. If someone chooses to use substances that makes them seemingly stronger, I liked that type of an opponent because they're not using the spirit. Training honestly means you run at 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. You train every day. You don't take days off. You train on Christmas days, birthdays, Thanksgiving days. Tried, proven, and I thank you.
I'm sending this voice note to ask you if you prefer living in the country or the fast city life.
The fast city life has you looking at things which are not really going to benefit your peace. The people who are born in the country and no country life, the people who seem simple, these are the rich people. Farmers, fishermen, a very lucky man. Be around people like this. Take time to go to the country or look at green, look at the trees, look at the park, go to the parks.
Do you ever think that anyone would be able to make a movie out of yourself? And if so, who would you like to actually play as yourself as, you know, simply the best?
The universe will choose. Just the one who plays me, well, good luck with that. It would be actually very interesting to find someone who is, who can act or play a part of a man who is literally crazy, but is harmless. The crazy is one of creativity. So being able to switch your personality to whatever situation you are walking into. Not a lot of talk, but a lot of action. And if you do talk, you talk as you would think the gorilla would talk if he could talk. He only beats his chest, perhaps, when someone steps out of line. Don't make him angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. I hope you're laughing at that because I don't want to intimidate anybody.
Hi Chris, big fan here. If you were to run for Prime Minister and try to get into politics, I think you'd have a very good chance at it. What would be some of the major changes you'd bring to the country? Thank you very much. Love you.
Thank you. Did he say he loved me?
He did, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much. I feel the same towards you. A king cannot be prime minister. I was in the street not too long ago, and it was at a cinema in Brighton, in actual fact, and these girls must have been 11 and 12 years old, and they were cursing. When I take my position, and I'm speaking my truth, when the king takes his position, children will not be using bad language because it's against my rules. Why is no one telling the children, watch your language? Bad language doesn't suit you. You're not going to grow well. It isn't going to age well. The F word is something that harms you. You're swearing at someone, it doesn't harm them, it harms you. If the person responds in the same manner and actually uses bad language towards you, it harms him or her.
What is on your Christmas list?
You put me in a room with nothing else in that room, no pictures, nothing. I'm at a peace that is beyond the understanding of the public. I'm at a peace, no matter what situation I'm in. Well, here's the end of play today. I want to thank you for these questions because they were indeed stupendous. But if you could like, subscribe, and comment. This show can continue and reach more of the collective. Thank you.